Well, what you doing?
Oh, studying.
Studying? What are you studying, man?
This borderless challenge, man. I mean, look at all these technologies.
You know we're not eligible to do that, man.
What's with the camera?
Oh, man, this is something really cool I'm doing now for a new snack-sized version of TechWise TV.
Speaking of which, so the technologies. We've got a lot we need to cover on that snack-sized version.
Absolutely.
What do we got? ISE, the Identity Services Engine.
Yep.
MediaNet.
MediaNet, yeah.
Good call on the camera. What's the other one?
Cisco Prime.
Cisco Prime. And Ike. What about Ike?
And Ike, man, we got to really see if Ike saves the day and, of course, gets the girl. I don't want to give too much away, though.
Yeah. Very good. Let's get started.
Let's do it. The Cisco Identity Service Engine is the evolution of policy management in borderless networks. Check out this TechWise TV animation that explains why and how to take your policy management to the next level.
I remember my first security policy. So simple. Good stuff on, bad stuff off. Over the years, however, defining good and bad has gotten really difficult. So one policy quickly became 2, then 10, then more, and forget about just defining these policies. I need to enforce them as well. Now there's compliance, and they need to prove I'm secure. And on top of all that, everyone's bringing in his or her favorite Wi-Fi device and expecting full network access. Keeping up with this stuff takes time, people, and money. Not to mention how I translate policy terms like location, users, devices, and applications into geek speak like IPs, MACs, ACLs, ports, and 802.1x. Enough! I have an answer for us. The Cisco Identity Services Engine, or ISE, is an identity-based policy platform that enables compliance, enhances security, and streamlines operations. Its unique architecture lets you gather real-time contextual information about users and devices to proactively enforce governance policy across the entire network infrastructure. I mean, when you think about it, how could all this be attempted otherwise? As the central policy component for Cisco's TrustSec solution, ISE is the single source for policy definition, control, and reporting. So, you want to be on my network? Let me show you the tool set. AAA, authentication, authorization, and accounting. Hey, what's your username and your password? Cool. Now let me give you access to just what you need. And, by the way, I'm logging this whole session just in case. Posture. Is this device clean? Carrying any suspicious applications or viruses? No? All right. Profiler. You say you're a printer, but now you act like a web camera? I'm going to show you the door. Out. And now. Guest management. Just need temporary access? No problem. You get just enough access, but when your time is up, it's up. And automatically. Nice thing for me, I don't even have to set you up as a guest. All that's handled by the person who wanted you to visit. Now, many of you are saying to yourself right now, Self, this sounds just like Cisco NAC and ACS. And you're right. That's where it starts. ISE combines the functionality of both, but with simpler deployment and common management. Moving forward, ISE will extend more deeply into the network, into the data center, and the application stack. The Cisco Identity Services Engine is the single source of truth for endpoints all across the network. Now, there are really just 2 packages to understand here. The base package is all about authentication, ID, and guest services like what you find in Cisco ACS and NAC Guest Server. The advanced package adds profiling and posture services to the mix, a deeper, more intelligent analysis of anything requesting access. NAC Appliance and Profiler, they'd be your reference points here. Now, anticipating your next logical question, no, this does not mean end of life for NAC or ACS. Every network is different. ISE is for those of us who want to consolidate policies in an 802.1x framework. If that's not you because, say, you want a choke point that's in line, or maybe you're just looking to authenticate a network device admins or something, well, existing NAC or ACS products, they're going to be a better fit. Now, speaking of fit, you have 3 different hardware appliances to choose from, as well as a VMware-based virtualized appliance. And because Cisco is shipping on the same hardware used by NAC and ACS today, there's a built-in level of investment protection. Always a good point to make to the bean counters, right? Now, unlike other solutions, Cisco ISE has the ability to run specific functions at critical points in the network. For example, a pair of ISE appliances for administration, maintenance, and troubleshooting and logging in a high availability configuration. This could be located centrally, but with distributed appliances for making policy decisions as close to the user or device as possible, communicating to your Cisco network infrastructure for enforcement. This is a really important design point to call out here. Cisco ISE works with your existing network devices, switches, wireless controllers, VPN concentrators, to balance the workload and keep enforcement as close to the endpoint as possible. If you have legacy gear in your network, no worries. ISE can make enforcement work with these as well. Now, this example was a large network design simply to illustrate the flexibility available. you can still get tremendous value from just 2 of these things. Redundancy, right? Start small, add capacity through additional appliances or extra licenses whenever needed. All right? Our assault on complexity continues now with a simple interface, including things like a centralized dashboard with hot links to more details, flexible filtering of your active session, drag and drop reordering of rules, reusable objects. ISE uses state-of-the-art widgets to make page hopping and crazy scrolling a thing of the past. And you're just going to love the clarity ISE provides here. Visibility into what just happened, when it happened, who or what was involved, and how it was taken care of. We all know that complexity is the enemy of good security. This is why the ISE dashboard and the reporting tools, the live logs, are so robust and valuable. So there you have it. Cisco Identity Services Engine. Single point of truth, restoring visibility and control to the edge of your network. Enough already, huh? Why don't you check it out for yourself? Next up, Ike finds himself in a challenging situation. Think job security through better management. Sounds simple. Let's take a look.
Yes, of course. I'll tell him. Hi, you must be Ike. I'm Penny. I'm new in IT. They said the new wireless services module is up and running in the Catalyst, and you should install the access point in the conference room. And maybe later on you can show me around a bit. Ike? Ike?
And I want no interruptions. Hello, Hanson.
Benson, I got the transaction code. Get ready to be rich.
Here's the best part. I've arranged for all the evidence to point to this moron from IT. All right, give me the code and I'll feed it into the system.
NIRG1MIC676HC.
Here we go. Huh?
What's going on?
I don't know. I can't log on.
Just use our secret backup account.
Yeah, good idea. Done. From now on, every transaction at the bank will have a service charge, and all of it will be directed to our account.
And the little IT geek gets to go to jail.
The CEO has to see this. I know, I'll conference him in. The media trace shows that the network congestion is on the India link. Sweet! CEO video fixed.
I can almost feel the bank's money in my hands.
I wish I could see the CEO's face when he finds out.
Well, Benson, your wish is granted.
Hello, sir. What a pleasant surprise.
It's all over, Benson. I heard everything. The police are on their way.
Sweet!
Huh?
Oh, Ike, we did it! This was pretty cool. I guess we make a pretty good team, huh? Is it always this exciting here in IT?
A MediaNet is an end-to-end architecture for a network comprising advanced intelligent technologies and devices in a platform optimized for the delivery of rich media experiences. So then 3 characteristics to watch for. 1, media aware. Can your network detect and optimize different media and application types like telepresence or video surveillance to give the best user experience? 2, endpoint aware. Can it automatically detect and configure your media endpoints? And 3, network aware. Can it detect and respond to changes in device, connection, and service availability? Rob and Jimmy Ray dive into the newest tools now available for your MediaNet right now.
So MediaNet, 2 questions. 1, how valid is that for an engineer these days? Is this something an engineer can wrap their hands around?
Yep.
And 2, it makes sense to me because when we talk about today, we are firmly in the video age. But I think a lot of people have different understanding of what does video mean to my network. I mean, how do we get our head wrapped around that?
Well, let's take a look here real quick. Is that I think the most important thing to look at is now we're describing video in voice terms when it comes to loss. The one thing I got to mention about any type of video is that video is not all the same. Every one of these types of videos fall under the category of video, but they all have a lot different requirements and what our tolerance factors are, because each one of these video pieces have a lot different value on the network.
But you're not actually going to map this into your network in a real static fashion and saying, okay, make sure anything that would fall into the streaming video category has got a tolerance that never to exceed 1,000 milliseconds or something like that, right?
I hope not, man. You know, a lot
are trying to do today, you think?
You know, a lot of vendors out there will even tell you that you know, your network is video ready. Just use diff-serve code points to actually do that stuff. And dude, that is very old school, man. That's like 1980 stuff.
You can't live. So the nature is it's dynamic, as evidenced by the fact that you go from anywhere from 1,000 milliseconds in terms of tolerance down to 150 and everywhere in between, right? Because these things are going to obviously fluctuate and depend, and they're going to have a different volume associated with them as well. So what's part of MediaNet? What is it that makes up? So you think it's real? I mean, is this stuff we can deploy today? We can put our hands around?
I do. MediaNet is MediaNet is a terminology that describes a bunch of terminology. So instead of calling everyone these out individually, we say MediaNet because it's the umbrella that covers a whole bunch of cool stuff like media monitoring. Media monitoring is a piece of MediaNet, and it provides the workhorse for getting this stuff done. So if you look at 3 of the bigger components of this is, you got performance monitoring that's actually on the hardware, and it's actually recording and tracking what's going on each device, on the interface, and it's keeping a history of this.
So like all your metrics.
Is stored. Yeah.
Okay, so you can access that at any point in time, make decisions based on that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And if we rotate around, then I've got IPSLA VO. Now, we know IPSLA from the voice stuff we've done, of course. The video piece of this is actually using the knowledge we learned there, because now we're talking jitter and latency stuff, and we're actually able to send, so if I've got point A and point V to send traffic across, and I've got 3 switches in between, IPSLA can generate synthetic traffic, different size, different burst rate and stuff, and tell me what this latency is going to be, what my numbers are going to be.
So it's like a modeling. I mean, you literally can make sure that you've got things where you need them before you make the mistake of learning it at your customer's expense.
It's exactly like modeling.
Wow.
It's synthetic, so it's still never real live, but it's still incredibly good. It's really, really close, and it's very valuable to playing out your network. We rotate around on here again, and then we've got the media trace component. This is a component that I really like a lot, is that because it does a couple different things. It's very dynamic in nature, and if you take anything away from here, definitely remember that media trace is dynamic. And then it can actually query records and give me results and input. Somebody calls and says the network is slow, and it's been slow for weeks. I can go back and I can query performance monitoring media trace and say, yes, it is, or no, it's not, and look at that history based upon that.
So this level of analysis makes me think this is a Cisco-only type of solution?
There are a couple pieces in here that are important for Cisco. Performance monitoring, of course, since that's on the hardware. There's an auto-config piece in here that allows us to actually configure media endpoints as they're plugged in.
So there's benefits to being with Cisco,
cool.
But not necessarily required.
No, not at all.
Good.
Because the one thing I want to do is I still want to be able to actually run this stuff across any vendor stuff in the past, so I know if that's a good path or a bad path. So I can figure that across. So we do work with third-party components through the media services interface. And what you can see here is that we've really designed this to actually work with a lot of more popular ways of doing
access that entire stack. And even through an SDK.
And actually through an SDK, which really makes the API very useful because we've got documented information, methods of programming, all that good stuff to get people up and going really quick.
So tell me if you agree with this. MediaNet to me is new as of today, but this to me seems like the way networks will be ongoing. I don't know why you would do it any differently.
No, I agree. Yeah, it's very adaptable. It's very dynamic. It's very flexible. And that's where video, look where we came with video, man. You need that kind of same flexibility in your architecture, and that's what MediaNet provides.
Very good. Thank you, man. Mark this moment in your calendars. It's a milestone announcement for Cisco. We get to introduce you to Cisco Prime. Prime delivers on the promise of converged management. This will change how you manage and run your network. Instead of trying to manage a bunch of distinct devices, you can now start at the services level. It's your business needs. And Cisco Prime maps the details across the entire network. In fact, look for these 5 common operational attributes present for any product in the Prime portfolio. Optimized operations experience, integrated Cisco best practices, complete lifecycle management, day one device support, and smart interactions. Promises, promises. I know, I hear you. Don't believe me? Well, let's check in with Jimmy Ray and Sylvia. We'll see what it's all about.
Okay, Jimmy Ray, what does Prime mean to you?
Well, that's a pretty funny question because when it was first brought to me, I was like, no, we're not interested in this. This is boring. It's a bunch of remarketing of stuff we already have, and I really wasn't interested at all. But then I started talking to the developers and the people who this really affects, and what Prime really means is it's a commitment, it's a promise from Cisco, from our developers sitting here cutting the code, to the sales folks in the field. We're going to provide you with a common usability, reusable tools, same type of look and feel across certain management platforms that are really going to streamline your management process.
Right, so it doesn't actually look like separate platforms anymore. They all look more similar.
So nice. I mean, I loathe network management. I can't stand it. Mainly because you got to relearn everything.
Yeah.
And every platform's different. Then an update comes and changes it again and all that stuff. It's just a pain in the tail. And what Prime does is that I got this really cool slide here with a whole bunch of words and in our commitments and stuff. But what it really means is that in Prime itself, we have made you a promise that that the products that come under here are going to be very common, reusable, and all that good stuff. So
it's following a methodology that's defined here, and everybody who's part of that has to conform to the methodology. Is my understanding. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got to understand that the products right now that are in Prime, when it comes to it, there's a lot of political boundaries that are kind of cut through here when it does this stuff. So it's a huge commitment for anybody to want to make the same look. Nobody else is out there is doing it. People are saying, "Oh, no, you don't have that." This is
right.
Pretty big.
So one of the key things is everybody out there probably has a LAN management solution or LMS.
Yes.
Network control system is an evolution of the WCS platform for wireless. And most people out there, when they're claiming that they have wired and wireless integration, it means they have one thing next to the other. They can stick them on 2 tabs.
Yeah.
And we're really integrating all the data and make it consumable inside of NCS in this release.
Well, let me show you that. I just happen to have a demo right here.
How
Imagine
about
that. This is the NCS platform right here. And one of the really cool pieces about this is that you're not seeing any tabs here that says wired or wireless. What you're seeing is network control system, and you're seeing all the information across the top, monitor, configure services, and information here. Nothing is really saying that I'm going from one wired to one wireless system here. This is, it kills me because back when I was doing a lot of WCS demos and stuff, all the wireless people go, yeah, and the wired people go, man, why can't we have that kind of stuff, And now we've taken that step. NCS is, evolves out of WCS, and it gives us that ability to have that same look and feel and the same great readability that we had before. That is really pretty darn nice. I mean, just clicking on this, look, you can see wired client distribution, top SSIDs, top 5 switches. I mean, we've got a lot of great information on this platform here that is really great. And you'd mentioned about, the tabs and stuff. Man, that is not integration.
No,
that's just a shortcut.
Neighbors, right?
Exactly. It's just bogus.
So for this product, we're really focusing on user and access management. So you're putting your access switches in there next to your wireless infrastructure so that anybody who's trying to get on the network, you have one place to troubleshoot and monitor. So it is complementary to LMS in that way, where if you still want to go out and do configuration of all your, your core switches and routers, you'd be using LMS. But this, for the tidal wave of tablets and mobile devices hitting the network, this is going to help you maintain and troubleshoot those a little more easily and do it with the same UI that you would be getting from Collaboration Manager or from LMS or from NAM.
That's right. Absolutely.
Cool. All right, Jermaine. Well, thanks for telling us all about it.
My pleasure.
Hope you guys have been taking good notes.
It's time to answer the questions, my friends.
And there's so much more to share with you as this big launch moves forward.
Good luck.